Hi guys, how are you? I hope everyone's out there is doing well. And if you are going through dark night of the soul or being attacked, just hang in there. Just be strong. Just be strong. Just be strong as you are. Just recognize your strength. And if you feel like you have none left, just believe that you are loved. Trust me, you are loved. I love you. All of your community loves you. Angels love you. God loves you. And when you are being tested, I always tell people in my own religion, it really is no bull to compare your life to something in automotive industry that's called uh, testing, crash testing. You know, think about the best, the most expensive, the most amazing cars out there, like Mercedes, BMW, Audi. I don't know. I'm not a big car expert, but those really good quality cars that have proven to have the best performance and crash endurance, and they last the longest, and they have the most amazing features, and everything just has to work perfectly. Those cars are immensely tested. Like, if you haven't watched, please go on YouTube and watch car tests and crash tests and whatnot, and you will see how many times they will crush this car into concrete wall, into steel wall, into whatnot, and do whatnot with these cars. It's going to break your heart to see that they will make perfectly, like, uh, amazingly good car and then crush it just to see what needs to be improved to make it super strong. It's super quality as it is. And I always compare my own life and life of my friends and people I know, and I tell them that you are a freaking Mercedes of a human. You are the best. You are the top quality. So you can't go through that without quality control, without crush control, how much you can take. And so when you're being tested like that, just know that you're coming out of that. Now, you cannot see that coming out of it, but when you come out of it, you will come out of it uh, just amazingly better, stronger, and passing the test in itself is a success. So let's get to the signs that I've seen and that are given to me, and ooh, I was so amazed. So here's what happened. First of all, I want to apologize to in advance to my Muslim friends, because as one of the Muslims myself, I strongly we all have that specific love and respect for God, and we don't want God to be disrespected in any way possible by any association in matters of putting anyone in equal power as the source itself has. So any Muslim you meet in your life will, if they know anything about their religion, if they didn't just inherit it from their parents, but they actually study their religion and they actually believe in who they are, they will try all their life not to commit the sin of shirk or the association with God. And the prevention is through things such as for example, we don't worship statues. We don't do fortune telling. We don't believe in horoscopes or any kind of, of course. Oh, there was just lightning in the sky right now. That was amazing. I was hoping for some rain. Anyways, this lightning just confirms my thought at that moment was to say that we do believe in natural phenomena, and that forces of nature are controlled by the omnipotent creator, and we are born under circumstances, but we don't we don't look at things on purpose, such as, for example, let me give you some examples. Like in this world, people still do old practices of looking into maybe coffee beans or stars or the of their leaves, like to purposely read into it. to purposely look for a sign. And I am not condemning anyone, I'm not judging anyone, I'm just saying how it is in Islam. We don't do that. So, and that's why I said I want to apologize to my Muslim friends, because I don't do that either. But I do believe that when God sends you a sign without you actually looking for it, but just observing it and noticing it without actually practicing anything or purposely preparing a ritual to read into something, then I don't see that as fortune telling. That's why I'm asking everyone to stay open minded right now, because what's going on is where the sign came from, to me, makes no other sense but to be from and by the will of God, by the source and from the source. And I never believe that anything is created by anyone else by this but the source. When you ask in through the law of attraction, what do you call it? Law of attraction, or you call it dua or prayer or supplication. It doesn't matter. It could be just a wish in your heart. You can call it a wish. Whatever you call it, when you manifest things into your life, it is not you who are manifesting. You are just allowing uh, by the good belief and a good vibration for source to give it to you. But still, it's the source that creates everything. So the amazing thing was that I lighted a candle in my prayer room, and as you can see now, the video is gonna start. I recorded in my prayer room. What I found in the morning is this. This is how the candle has melted. I just left it there. I forgot to put the bottom because it's just a candle. I usually use the candles with jars, but I use the one that is just a single without a jar, and I just left it on this glass like a mirror candle holder, so it's flat. And it's just, I forgot about it. I fell asleep and it just went into flower shape that I know I've seen somewhere before. Now the top is also interesting. You can see the top looks quite like the name of God in Arabic. And it's just a coincidence that my father bought me a birthday gift, like a wool leg that says God, in the name of God on it. And I've noticed that this bottom that melted just looks like that. And the whole thing is that I left the candle and forgot. And then you can see next night I didn't want the same thing to happen, so I used the actual, like a bowl, and I put this like, because it's like a package of candles, but this one just shaped like that, like a, so it was standing there. And this is my stick that I found in the woods, which is very light. It's very interesting. And I noticed that this flower reminds me also of these shells that I have. Also, you can see here also the name of God. On this you can see even better, looks actually like this flower. It's very similar to this flower shape. And I can't believe, like, you can make these things up, you know. And if you remember, a very long time ago I had a video where I showed you what I found once covered with the box on the street next to my car. There was a chain pendant, and it had two of these flowers on them, on the pendant too. And I still have the pendant. However, I put it in the box that then packed in a large bag, and I put it on top of my closet, which is very high. I just left it there to actually share it with my twin flame. I'm serious. So I just wanted to make video tonight. I can find it maybe later. I can unpack the whole thing and find it, but I'd rather find the video where I put that. I'm gonna try to search that in one of my older videos, and you can see. So that's where it was familiar from, but there were two of these flowers merged in the pendant. And then I remember what I have on my, there's like right here on my, in my prayer room, there is a place where I keep my prayer rugs. And this is not a prayer rug. This is, my mom gave me this. I don't know where she got it. This little cover for the like a piece of furniture I have there. And so I also remembered that when I saw this candle melt, I also remembered that I have that I've seen these flowers there. And me being from Europe, really, I don't know. I've seen stuff like that maybe in Buddhism and Hindu tradition, but I don't know. To me, it's just an artichoke. I don't know. So I tried to research after this happened to see what is this flower? What does it mean now, especially because of that pendant that I found, that old pendant with such an amazing energy that I found had these symbols on. It just got me puzzled more to find out. But before I did actually sit down to do the research, I watched the movie on TV with my mom. And this is an ultimate twin flame flick that you guys, if you haven't already, you have to see it. If you did see it, watch it again. Silver Linings Playbook is the name of the movie. It's amazing dynamics of twin flames. You can see how they open each other's wounds, how they push each other's buttons, how they do that mirroring thing. It's incredibly well done by these two. I think they probably have that energy between them. It couldn't have been faked that well. It's amazing chemistry between these two, showing the twin flame dynamics. And I'm gonna post, first thing below this video, I'm gonna post a link for this movie so you can find it and watch it at SASP. So anyways, in the movie, I I didn't do research. That morning I found the candle melt, and in the movie there is a scene where he goes to a game with his brother, and suddenly his doctor, his therapist, comes with another bus to the game, and it's a Indian bus, and it has this flower in the one, like a single second of the scene. I saw this flower on the bus too, and I was like, that's it. This must be some kind of Indian artifact, a symbol predating today's religion. So I had to find out what it meant, and I sat down on Google and I did the research, and suddenly things started popping up in my head. I remembered seeing this exact symbol, this flower, or as I said, artichoke. I apologize. It's just, as I said, I'm stupid European. We don't have that symbol in our European tradition. So I remember seeing it in many twin flame. You see here on this video, you can see above their heads, you can see these two flowers. And I started remembering from many twin flame depictions, and people did art, twin flame art. I've seen these two flowers, and I'm like, what is this flower? Why in the name of God did this show as a sign to me? And first finding was that actually that's a lotus flower, a flower of lotus. And I heard of that before, I read about that before, but I just never paid attention to the actual shape that is depicted in art. And I've seen a lotus flower, a real lotus flower, but was never really needed or was really interested to discover more about it. I know it comes from the Eastern traditions. And so it says in Buddhism, symbolism of the lotus is it means purity of the body, of the speech and mind. And while it's rooted in the mud, the flowers blossom on the long stalks as if floating above the muddy waters of attachment and desire. It's also symbolic of detachment, as drops of water easily slide off the flower's petals. Next interesting thing I found, it says the consciousness of the souls that contemplate on the glory of the Creator will rise as the lotus flower grows and strives to reach the surface towards the beauty and light of the sun, where the lotus, like the soul, realizes itself and opens itself up to a higher plane of existence above the murky waters in which it is rooted. The lotus soul then basks in the full glory and grace of the Creator's light. This symbolism did not just stop there. It was used throughout the Sikh world in an art and architecture, which is why the Sahib I can read this name, floats in the middle of a pod, because it is actually symbolic of the lotus flower. And so this is very big. I believe this is a very big sign. So it gets even better. It gets even better because then next I discovered that there's a chakra that is represented by the lotus flower, and it's called Padma chakra. And this is first time I'm learning about this. So thank God this was sent to me. And you can see it says Padma chakra, and I'm about to do more research on this, of course, and see what can I do to improve the flow through that chakra. But as a symbol, as a signal, as a sign that came to us right now, I feel strongly, because this chakra represents the heart of the heart, the inner, the most inner heart of the being. I believe, and I do feel, actually, I feel telepathically through my heart that my twin flame is more than ready right now. I may not know about it, but God certainly knows. And I also have been feeling for the last night, extreme pain inside the heart area, which is nothing like I've ever felt before. Nothing when I recently saw my twin flame, I felt that he was scared, that he had pain in his heart, that he had sadness in his heart, which was not my feeling, but I felt it telepathically. Also, previously, when my heart chakra, my actual heart chakra was opening, I felt certain sensations, and this is totally different. So if any of you have been feeling this pain in the heart, let me know. Drop it down in the comments, because I think you're ready too, and your twin flame is ready too. Share also with me, have you seen any of these signs, similar things, twin flame flowers, twin flame symbolism, what is going on with you? Drop it in the inbox, or leave it in the comments, whichever you prefer. And now we're gonna be off to the next topic, which is even more huge. Now, as most of you already know, the next Muslim holiday is coming up on the 20th of August. So here's the thing: Muslims have two holidays. One ends marks the end of Ramadan, the time of a revelation of the Quran, in which we read the Quran, we fast, and we give the special type of donation called the fitr. So the holiday is called Eid ul-Fitr. And now Eid ul-Adha is coming up on the 20th of August. Eid ul-Adha is not only going to the pilgrimage to the holy Mecca for anyone who is able to, financially and physically and mentally as well, but which also predates Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It goes back to the Prophet Abraham, which is father of all three monotheistic religions. And at that place is also not at the Kaaba, but nearby on the mountain is the place where Abraham, according to all three religions, had to sacrifice his son, but instead a ram showed up as an substitute from God. And so that was a sign. For, mark my words, that was a sign for Abraham not to sacrifice his son, but to sacrifice the ram instead. And ever since that time, and then in the time of the Prophet Muhammad, the tradition was sort of renewed. Muslims until today do that sacrifice of sheep or goat or cow or any domestic edible type of animal that normally is used in our diet, besides except pigs, because Muslims normally don't eat pigs. And so it would be sheep or goat, or in some cases camels, depends on the area of the world. And then that meat is distributed to the poor people in your neighborhood. You feed your neighbors, you feed the needy. Nowadays, people will do donation even online, and it will be distributed in some country where the children are maybe in orphanages, in refugee camps. There's poor people families, and that is all great, and that is all, it shows great way of God showing us and teaching us to do the charity and to feed each other and to share. And this is what Muslims celebrate on top of going to the holy place of Kaaba, the first house of God. And like Jesus said to the people at his time when they asked him if he came to change the law, just gonna say, I'm here just to deliver the message. Everybody can take message in their own way, and I'm risking here perhaps losing a lot of subscribers. Not that I have that many, but every one of you do matter to me. So I want you to be even more open minded right now and think about what I'm gonna say to you right now, because um, every one of the people that God claims that He loved, because none of us know for sure if we please God or not, but there's people that God actually mentions as His friends, and people who pleased Him, and He was satisfied with what how they led their lives and what they did for others. And if you think about lives of any of those people, and I'm not even closely comparing myself to them, far from it, but every one of them had been standing in the truth, and be and they stood their ground when it came to the message they were to deliver. Even Abraham himself, uh, if you look at it, he changed the law at the time. Muhammad did not obey the laws of his family and his uncles and people who worshipped idols at the Kaaba. He was the changer. He was the game changer. um, every single one of them. Moses was the game changer. He came and told people slavery was not the way to live. They could do better than that. So I'm here to deliver the message. It was very strongly download to me about 6 days ago, and I've been very anxious to share this with you, but it's very hard to come out in open and say this, but I have to. I have to do it for the sake of God, because it's something very important. And as I say, this is also how it was given to me, to just send it out, and whoever is ready, whoever resonates with this right now, whether they be Muslim, non-Muslim, it doesn't really matter. Just kind humans, human beings, men and women out there who are listening to this, and please share with other people. The message was from the one who creates, who is the source of love and light and peace and the mercy above all mercies. And that mercy and that love is crying out to us to recognize our own sense of mercy, and go back to the time when that law of the Qurban, of the sacrifice of the animals, was made. Now, you may think or accuse me that I'm some kind of a lawbreaker, but just watch this video and let me explain that from the Sharia law, from the Islamic perspective. They also accused Jesus, peace be upon him, at his time when he healed a woman. There was a woman who came to the temple, and most Christians know this story, and Jews know this story. I don't know how many Muslims know this story, but she came to the temple on the day of Sabbath, which was Saturday at the time, and he helped her to to remove the ailment that she had. As we all agree that he was able to heal, he was a healer, and he helped her and she got healed. But the people at the temple accused him of working on Saturday, on Sabbath day, on the holy day when nobody was supposed to work. Everybody was supposed to be at the place of worship and just do the worship. Now, he explained to them that he didn't break the law, but that he just interpreted in a different way with the mercy that God sends to us, and that we should, as we should also show to others. And he was plainly said he was just feeling sorry for the lady, and he told them, you let your oxen, your cows, you let them go on Saturday, you let them free. So why wouldn't you help me, why wouldn't I help my sister to be free free from her ailment, from something that was bothering her for many, many years. So he was just helping another human being. He was showing, he was exhibiting mercy, and he didn't care. Was it Saturday? Was it a holy day? And he knew that God would rather have him break the law and do something good than not break the law and not help someone and let someone suffer even longer. So God always puts mercy above his law. As long as you don't do something sinful and bad, which will have consequences for you as well as the others, then there's no sin in not doing something. All right. So when we look back at the time of the prophet Abraham, why did he even sacrifice the ram? Like I explained, we all know that he did that because the ram was substituted for his son. But why would he need to sacrifice his son in the first place? So what I received was that at the time, everywhere in the world, people were sacrificing humans in many, many tribes. Not everybody, but in many places, they were sacrificing humans. They were sacrificing virgin girls. They were sacrificing children to what they believed was a powerful entity. Could have been, even they did, like on islands, they did throw people in the volcano because they thought that would ease the anger of the volcano, and any other types of pagan worship that include human sacrifice did exist. So it was the role of Abraham, like many other things he's changed, like the worship of the idols when he broke the idols of his father. And this was earlier when he was child himself. So about the same age, he was about the same age that now his son was. The son that he waited for so long, that he loved so much. Now he was tested to be the one to also do the sacrifice of his son. Just remember, just think that he did live in the time when that was part of the culture, when that was part of the society. It was something that was done. Not that he wanted to do it, but it was done. It was around him. So when that order came to him to do it for the one God that he believed in, the creator of the universe, the same thing. It could have sounded like a paradox to Abraham, because think about it. Do you really think that the God, the creator, really needs our sacrifice to prove our love to him? Do you think that's the reason why this sacrifice exists? Well, here it is. The thing is that, as I said, the God wanted to stop that tradition, to stop that practice. But the only way to stop people from human sacrifice was to develop a change, to change that. And that change came through Abraham. So he was ordered the same thing that many priests and people in that time in societies around him did. He was ordered to do the same thing, and he was ready to do it for the real God, for the creator of the universe, because he in the first place gave him the son that he has. So in spite of all the pain and sadness that he felt for having to do such a crazy, horrible thing, he was ready to do it for the love of God. So at the time, and God knew what was in Abraham's heart, and he knew that he would do anything to, he just basically trusted God completely. Just as I said in the one of my videos, that mother of Moses threw him in the water. She simply believed God will save him. Like, she was told to do that, and she did it, and he was saved. So Abraham went with that blind faith, and he was ready, and his son agreed. It was consensual. His son agreed. He told his son what he needed to do, what he must do, what he was told in the vision, and he came to do it. And as the Quran says, God told him, you were ready to do it. So this counts as your sacrifice, readiness to sacrifice for the one and true God, as done, as a done deal. So then the ram showed up as a substitute to show the society at that time, to show them the way to stop the sacrificing of the humans and the babies and the virgins and whatnot. So at that time, because you see, God is doing changes in us step by step. The changes that we created, he's not changing his own law. That was never God's law. It's just God is changing the laws that we made up by ourselves, that societies made on their own, the cultures, the places in the world, like as I said, the Mayans and many others, the Egyptians sacrificed children. Even at the time of Prophet Muhammad, which was way after Abraham, they were still killing baby girls, not for sacrifice, but for sort of population control, and they just wanted to have male children, and so that was norm for them. Prophet Muhammad changed that, and he stopped that tradition. So as I said, prophets are game changers, and God himself, he's the game changer of the rules that we applied on our own. He wants to change them, but he knows human psyche and human, especially the group thinking is hard to change. It's hard to change human way of thinking, or humans get set in their ways pretty harsh. So it's hard to change that traditions that they do. Think about it. Like, think about traditions you see in Islam that are not Islamic, like the arranged marriages, or some parts of wedding or funeral traditions that are not really Islamic, but they draw their roots from the previous religion, previous culture that certain groups belong to. So that is different depending on where they come from. But the Islam and the real teachings of Islam are same in all of these countries, but they all differ in their local traditions. They are so stuck in their ways that even Islam that they try to apply in their everyday life is not still strong enough to root out those traditions. In other words, traditions are really hard to root out. So God is very patient with us and tries step by step to change our view of the rules that we made on ourselves. So by him applying a new rule and sending a prophet or someone to, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a prophet, it can be anyone, to send a certain message and change certain thing, God is slowly making us into better people, and to helping us to recognize our own goodness and our own humanity and our own mercy that we do have in our heart, because we all come from source, we all come from God, and we all come from one. Animals, humans, plants, even everything comes from God, and everything can feel that love. Even if you water the flower but you don't care about that flower, it's not gonna thrive, it's not gonna grow. I've seen people talk to their flowers and those flowers bloom better. Everything needs love, and everything wants to feel love. So when Abraham changed the law through that event of the ram showing up instead of so he had to execute the ram instead of his son, and then everybody else followed that tradition pretty much. Well, basically, unless it's illegal, but basically in public, as far as we all know, the human sacrifice has been rooted out from most of the societies of the world, even by the time of Prophet Muhammad has come. So that was successful mission. The exchange of the animal sacrifices instead of human has worked out just well. Now the message is that God is saying that it's time to root out the animal sacrifice from our traditions. Now, you may get so mad right now. Some people will say, what are you talking about? But as I said, I'm not here to break the law. I'm here to give you a different interpretation from the Quran itself of what the Qurban really means, what the sacrifice really means. And I have one question to ask all of the Muslims who are listening to this right now. Does it really say in anywhere in our religion, in our charts, in our pillars of the Islam, is it part of our pillars of the Islam to be a must to do a Qurban, to do a sacrificial animal, to sacrifice an animal at any time? Is it part of the pillars or is it part of something else? Okay, so let's explain. Okay, if you say it's part of the pillars by meaning that it's part of the pilgrimage to Mecca, are you really sure that actually Qurban is part, that the sacrificing of the animals is part of the pilgrimage to Mecca? In other words, can you do your Hajj without sacrificing an animal? Not according to the tradition that you follow, but I'm asking you according to the God's word, to the Quran. Do you have to do the sacrifice of the animal? So let's look it up. So if we look in the Quran, one of the best places where we can find description of the ritual of Hajj, of the pilgrimage to Holy Mecca, is in the chapter 2, the chapter Cow. And it's interesting that it's named Cow. So anyways, it's chapter 2, and let's look at the verse 196. And I'm just going to read it in English, and then I will explain to you a little bit. It says, and complete the Hajj or Umrah in the service of Allah, but if you're prevented from completing it, send an offering such as you may find, and do not shave your heads until the offering reaches the place of sacrifice. And if any of you is ill or has an ailment in his scalp, which prevents the shaving, then he should in compensation either fast or feed the poor or offer a gift. Now, why do I use the word gift when most of you are used to know that this means the Qurban? Because if you look in the Quran, there is no word Qurban there. The word that is used is the word hadi, and hadi can mean three things in Arabic language. It can mean a guide, such as, a person who guides you, or a camel. It could mean a camel, yes. But it also can mean, and mostly is used as the word for the gift. Like if someone gives you hadiya, it means, someone can give you a pound of sugar or bring you chocolates. You would use the same word. So it doesn't mean necessarily an bloody sacrificial animal. It doesn't describe that. That word doesn't mean that. It just means gift. Okay. Now, and by the way, as you noticed, it doesn't even say that you do Hajj or pilgrimage and that it's part of the pilgrimage to do, even if you look at that word as the word hadiya, even if you look at that word as that you think it means sacrifice, as they taught you that it means, then look at that verse more carefully again. It says right there that if you are prevented from completing the Hajj, then you must offer a gift. And if you're not prevented and you do the Hajj, but something's wrong with your scalp and you cannot do the shaving ritual where you shave off your hair, then you can either fast or feed the poor or offer a gift. What kind of gift is that? So let's look at the word Qurban. So there's no word Qurban in these verses. So let's look at what the word Qurban means right now. The word Qurban is mentioned in the Quran only 3 times, but out of these 3 times, only once it does, in the context of what is being said there, it does mention the sacrificial animal. Other 2 times, it means your own sacrifice. It means sacrifice of your time, of your effort, of your energy, of your money, of your emotions for the sake of God, meaning for the service of the humanity, for the other people, to go volunteer at the charity organization, to even shave your hair at the holy pilgrimage symbolizes that painless. Because when you shave your hair, it's painless. You know, that's part of your body that doesn't hurt. It's the only part of your body that doesn't hurt. So when you shave your head, that's the God's way to show you his mercy. That's enough to leave a piece of yourself, piece of your physical part in that place, part of yourself, without incurring any pain for that. So think about that. When we sacrifice an animal and it's not even prescribed for everybody who comes to Hajj and it's done that way, I'm not telling you to listen to me. Listen to your own heart. Listen to your own mind. Who gave you that mind? Who gave you that intellect? Who gave you that heart? If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. And if the Quran doesn't say that you need to do that, then I'm not going to tell you should you do it or not, but I'm just going to tell you, according to the Quran, you're not breaking any law if you decide to stay away from the Qurban. Now you're going to say, but what about feeding the poor? Well, let's look at the reality of the Qurban today. I've heard many people report from many people who had done the Hajj that the worst part of Hajj for them was after it wasn't hard. Well, let's be honest, doing Hajj is not easy. It's physical. You have to run, you have to walk around 7 times around the Kaaba, but it's beautiful at the same time. It's a beautiful, beautiful experience. But a lot of people have told me that they've experienced shock to see how many animals were slaughtered, and then this is the worst part, that the meat was thrown out in the garbage because nobody would eat that much meat, because every pilgrim was supposed to do sacrifice of one animal, as we can see, not even mentioned in the Quran in that manner. And then who's going to eat all that meat in that place, because meat goes bad quickly. Okay, so let's think about Qurban we do online or we do in our own cities. Where does that meat go and how does it go? So let's look at this picture, and I have avoided to post the pictures of the actual slaughter because I know a lot of people out there are very sensitive, especially twin flames, who are people who are empaths. Most of us are empaths. We can feel hard emotional shock for seeing those photos. But if you wish, you can look up by yourself. But I warn you that those are very graphic, and also if you look at those too much, then you could attract that to happen more in our reality. So I posted the good pictures of the nice lambs and nice goats and cows who are so affectionate and beautiful beings that are created by Allah, to give you that good contrast and that good feeling so that we can attract that goodness for us and for them. But you can look for information purposes. You can just look quickly at what the Hajj animal sacrifices of animals look like, and you're not gonna like it, I tell you that. If you have any human sense of mercy, you're not gonna like that. And don't blame the people who do that, because the only reason they're doing it is they think that act is pleasing God. People they're good people, they want to please God, and they make themselves do things that even don't feel right for the sake of God, because they think that's what God wants them to do. And that's the message I have. God doesn't want you to do that. God wants you to love. God wants you to be kind to humans, to be kind to animals. He does not need the blood. And even the Quran says that God does not need the blood. Let me show you. There does not reach Allah their flesh nor their blood, but to him is acceptable the guarding against evil on your part. Thus has he made them subservient to you, that you may magnify Allah, because he has guided you aright, and give good news to those who do good to others. So think about that. Think really hard about this verse, really. I'm not here to change our religion. I'm here to change your view on the Quran. What is it really? What is God trying to tell us? He wants us to do good. And if you think the slaughtering of thousands of animals is good and not evil, then you have no absolute concept of the difference between evil and good. If that's not evil, I don't know what is. Because again, I'm telling you, this is a plea from God Himself to look at His own book and really understand it, what it means. Look into your own hearts and really understand, does it feel right to do that? And if you think that you cannot help the children that are hungry in this world and feed them with the good and nutritious foods other than the meat that spends hours and hours in the sun and infested by flies in the hot weather in the countries such as India, in the super hot weather, or Saudi Arabia. If you think that flies don't make their way to this meat, or that all of these animals have been checked by the veterinarian, then you really have to think twice. Are you really feeding kids good nutritious food, or you could actually poison them with this meat that spends, these people are working hard. They're trying to pack it as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, but it's not possible. And plus, those carcasses are being thrown out in the garbage that pilgrims have themselves have reported is horrible, and it's bad health hazard, and it's the spreading of the disease. So you have to think about my message. My message is message of love and peace and light. And if you really have your heart set out to help children with an animal, then why not donate a goat or a cow to a family that can feed them for months and months and years to come? They can sell the milk, they can make cheese. What about chickens? There's a lot of organizations, charity organizations in the world that can donate live animal to the family that they can take care of. And then children also learn responsibility, how to take care of the animal, how to feed it, how to receive love from the animal. And also eggs. Have you ever thought how healthy eggs are? Donate money for the live chickens to the family in some village or orphanage so they can pick up eggs and have nutritious breakfast every morning, not eat piece of poisoned meat once in a year. How are you going to feed them for the rest of the year? Think about that. And then, didn't God say in the Quran that He created so many beautiful, nutritious things for us? And the earth He set up for all the creatures. In it are fruits and palms in clusters, and grains in the blades, and fragrant plants. So which of your Lord's benefits will you deny? That's in the Quran. And do you know how many vegetables and fruits are out there that kids love to eat? Why do you not teach why don't we all teach the children? Actually, we don't have to teach them to love the animals. They do. Animals love children, and children love animals. Why do we traumatize them by killing their friends and making them eat their own friends? And then we teach them, and then we teach their body to be addictive to the meat. And there's a reason why we have addiction to the meat. The reason is not, it's not that we cannot live without meat, because there's so many vegetarians in the world and vegans that have proven the point so far, that they are healthy and just fine. But why do we need? Because there's hormones in the meat, the fear hormones, and plus the hormones that the industry is using to promote the growth of the animals that we feed our children with. These are addictive. There's things in the meat that are like drugs. So that's not healthy, and it's not good for our friends. We should not be eating our friends, and we should not kill them in that number for any holiday. It shouldn't be a holiday. It shouldn't be even called a holiday. God loves our goodness, and He wants us to sacrifice our time and and do the good deeds, and that's our sacrifice. Read the Quran again. You don't have to take my word for it. Just and don't even use. I don't tell you to use my opinion. You can use your own mind. God gave it to you. And I'm not asking you to have a change of mind or change of opinion. I'm asking you to have a change of heart. God is asking you that. I'm just giving you the message. And I have concluded my duty today. And thanks for everybody who watched. I love you guys, and I appreciate your time, and let's love and respect each other, and don't judge anybody for anything that they have done wrong if they didn't know. Let's just pray that everybody has a change of heart for better on all of these sides, and let's just reunite with our twin flames so we can do even more good work for others and for ourselves. God bless you, love you, and peace be upon you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.